Hello. We live. Hello again. It is not the 15th. It is the 14th. Let's change that date. Welcome to the stream. We're just hanging out as always. We will see where the conversation leads us. I also have a poll on the stream about what time stream should start. So if you see that, feel free to participate in the poll, because that'll help me decide when to do the streams. Because I want to get more consistent with it, so I can have like just a standard time that I always stream. Which, you know, there's not going to be a time that pleases everybody, but you know, that's how it goes. Acton Bell. I'm GMT, but I'm nocturnal. Word. Yeah, unfortunately, I think my stream is going to have to mostly cater to people, you know, in the Western Hemisphere or North America, basically. Just because that's convenient for me, but hopefully something can work out where people from other countries can watch. Murder Wizard, what's up? I don't know if you want me using your real name, but what up? The Steam game Guilty as Sock? I have not heard about that. Interesting. Might be worth checking out. It's like a party game. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. Yeah, I don't know anything about it. Oh yeah, now they have these top fan things in chat, where I guess it's who the people who engage the most get like a little icon by their name. You telling me you'd rather have yogurt for eternity rather than ice cream? No, I think, well, my argument is that if you want ice cream, or if you want something that's exceptional or good, you just have to put in the work for it rather than it just magically being there. I think you can probably still get ice cream. You just have to make it. You have to figure out how to make it and figure out how to make it good, or make friends with somebody that has figured out how to make it, rather than just like magically having ice cream whenever you want. Sock puppet courtroom sim. That sounds awesome, honestly. What do you think of the new Clips album? Have not heard it. Ice cream super easy. Yeah, it's not really that hard to make, I guess. It might be. Well, I've never really tried to make it, but I know you can buy like ice cream makers and stuff. I haven't seen the new Superman yet. I probably will. But yeah, that's I actually forgot about that. That's something that's on my list to do, is to watch the new Superman. What excites you to make videos? I guess just when I come up with an idea that I'm excited about. It's all about the ideas. I think coming up with ideas is maybe my favorite part of the whole process, is just when you just really got a good idea and you're like, that'll make a really good video. And then sort of like writing. I think writing is fun. But the idea is the best part, and then you have to put in all the other work, and sometimes parts of it can be tedious. The idea is the fun part. But once you finish it and you have a finished project, then it was all worth it. Yeah, I don't really like, I rarely get excited about movies, but I like I like superheroes, so I watch most of the superhero stuff. You ever thought about doing a video about Lost? Yeah, I have to watch it first though. I have a feeling that Lost is going to be, I feel like I would really like Lost, and then I would be really annoyed by it. Because my understanding of Lost is that they raise a bunch of questions and mysteries, and they don't answer them, or they don't answer all of them, and that would annoy me. But I have to watch it. This is just what I've gathered from hearing people talk about the show. But I it seems like something that I would like. I've been learning how to solve a Rubik's Cube, and it reminded me of your memory video. Makes sense. Rubik's Cube, solving a Rubik's Cube is a lot of memorization. I know how to solve a Rubik's Cube. I have a Rubik's Cube right over there that I play around with all the time. I love the Rubik's Cube. The satisfaction of solving a Rubik's Cube never gets old. It's always fun because it feels like magic. I enjoyed Thunderbolts a lot, actually, personally. I think it's one of the better Marvel movies. What are your thoughts on the Labubu craze? I don't know what that is. Shia LaBubu? With Lost, there's a question. If there's a question you feel unanswered, the answer is just magic. Well, to be fair, a lot of fictional properties do that. And to some extent, I get it. A lot of times it's not really about, it's not about the explanation. It's just about the feeling of mystery and wonder. Which, you know, that's one way to do things. Maybe not my preferred way of doing things, but I think it's a legitimate way to tell stories. Uh, what's up, Death Lord? What's your favorite fruit? My favorite fruit is probably pear. I also really like grapes. I think those are probably the top two. Pineapples are good too. Yeah, that's probably right. What's up, Zara? Hey, Wyclef. It's been a minute since somebody called me Wyclef. I used to get that a lot. What's my least favorite fruit? My least favorite fruit is probably like cantaloupe. Pretty gross. I feel like there's got to be a fruit. Is an olive a fruit? Because I hate olives. If an olive is a fruit, the answer is definitely olives. Fruit tier list. Honestly, I could probably do a fruit tier list. Probably somebody has made a fruit tier list. Fruit tier list. Let's do a fruit tier list. Hold on. I didn't expect to be doing this today, but I think we're gonna do it because it's content. How do I wait, let me make this. I don't know how to work this because I don't never do anything. I want it to fit to screen. What the hell? That's not right. Almost. All right, hold on. Let me fix it. Cantaloupe over watermelon. Hard disagree. What's your medium place fruit? I'd say pretty mid fruit is like peach. I think is pretty mid. When's my birthday? May 29. I celebrated my birthday not too long ago. Are tomatoes a fruit? Yes. Hi, new to your stream, but have been watching your vids since back when you're doing politics. Saw your vids on Hassan's stream. That's how I was introduced to your channel. Yeah, I think a lot of people found me from Hassan. He reacted to at least one of my videos, maybe more than one. I was excited to do the fruit tier list, but I can't figure out how to do what I want to do. Okay, here we go. Wait, let me get the chat over here. What's the best peanut butter? I honestly don't know. The only peanut butter I ever buy is Jif, just because it's cheap and it's fine. I've never really experimented with a lot of different peanut butters. Okay. Fruit tier list. I just found this on the internet really quick. I don't know if I haven't really had some of these, I think. Green apple's really good. Red apple is really good. Apricot. Is it apricot or apricot? I think it's apricot. Apricot is fine. Avocados are S tier. Bananas are mid. The thing about bananas, I would never, well, I don't eat bananas. However, if you put a banana, if you like put banana in a smoothie or have like a banana flavor, it's delicious. So because of that, I put banana in B. Blackberries are mid. I've never had a black currant, I don't think. They eat that a lot in the UK. Blueberries are really good. Cantaloupe is trash. Coconut's another thing that's good as a flavor, but I would never just eat coconut. I put coconut mid. Cherries are good. Cranberries are good. Dates are fine. Dragon fruit. I don't even remember what that tastes like. I'm just gonna put it down here. I think I've had it before, but I don't remember. I've never had durian. Figs are really good. I don't know what gooseberry is. Grapefruit is trash. Grapes are S tier. No, red grapes are A tier. White grapes are S tier. Kiwi is super mid. I like lemons, but obviously you don't usually eat a lemon, but lemon is really, really good. Honestly, if you use a lemon for what it's for, honestly, lemons are S tier. Limes, I think, are just worse lemons, but they're still pretty good. I don't know what this is. Mangoes are pretty good. Nectarines are fine. Oranges are delicious. Papaya, pretty good. I don't know if I've had passion fruit before. Peaches are pretty mid in my opinion. Pears are S tier. I don't know if I've had persimmon. Pineapples are A tier. Pineapples are really, really good, but it's just like too much work to eat a pineapple most of the time. What we ranking? Literally just fruit. Someone suggested fruit tier list, and I was like, you know what? Let's do that. Plums are good. I'm gonna put plums B tier. Pomegranate is mid. I don't know what this is. I can't remember the last time I had a raspberry. I do not remember what they taste like. I'm just gonna put it down here. I've had it before, but I don't even remember what they taste like. Never had red currant. I've never even heard of that. Never had this. Strawberries are fine. I think strawberries are mid. Tangerines are really good. Watermelon is really good. Melon is trash unless it's watermelon. I've never had Asian pear, although that sounds like it would be good. I don't think I've had guava. I've never had blood orange. Don't know what a custard apple is. Ground cherry. I don't know what that is. I've never had a kumquat. Mulberry. I remember mulberries. I remember them being good, right? Raisins are super good. I'm gonna put them in A tier. Jackfruit is kind of whack, I think. I'm gonna put jackfruit in C. Mangosteen? That sounds made up. Don't know what that is. Don't know what that is. Don't know what that is. That's my very quick first impression without even thinking tier list. Obviously, there's a lot of fruits down here I've never had. Yeah, when I think of jackfruit, maybe the reason I rated jackfruit so low is because it usually is, at least in my experience, it's used to replace meat. So it's just like worse meat. How am I ranking? Yeah, I mean, I've basically just ranked on my overall enjoyment of that fruit, however it is used. So like lemon, for example, you're never just gonna sit and eat a lemon. However, when you use a lemon, it always makes whatever you're eating into a banger. You put lemon juice on something, squeeze from a fresh lemon, it's a banger. If you put lemon zest on something, it's a banger. They have custard apples at Mi Pueblo. Some of these I'm interested in. I've never had Asian pear. I would like to try that because I like pears and I like apples. Custard apple sounds interesting. Blood orange. I've heard people talk about blood oranges, but I never had it. Anyway, that's the fruit tier list. Thank you for coming to my live stream. I make the good content. Anyway, there you go. Lemon juice always gives sauces a kick. Absolutely. I put lemon juice on as much stuff as I can think of. It's good on everything. I'm gonna put y'all on a secret. Sprinkle some lemon juice on eggs. It's really good. But yeah, in general, fruit is pretty good because, you know, it's sweet. So what's the most obscure topic you can make a tier list for and feel strongly about? I don't know. Obscure is a hard thing because what is obscure? Like if I'm into something, I probably don't think it's obscure. Let me see. My initial thought was something D&D related, but D&D is probably not considered obscure anymore. I don't know. That's a tough one. I'm sure I could come up with something if I think about it. I could make a tier list of 0 calorie cream slash vanilla flavored soft drinks. S tier would be Diet Dr. Pepper cream soda. Also, 0 calorie check cream soda is S tier. Garbage tier would be 0 calorie A&W cream soda. Seinfeld or Friends? It kind of depends on my mood. I would say overall, I probably prefer Friends. Friends is just they just tell better stories and have better characters. Seinfeld is funnier though. It's funnier though for sure. But Seinfeld, if you like watch Seinfeld for anything except comedy, you're kind of disappointed. The stories are kind of all over the place. It's not really that well made a show. Like, it's not shot well, but it's really funny. But in terms of like Friends, I definitely like cared more about those characters when I grew up watching that show. Which fruits make the best jelly? Whenever I make like a PB&J, I always use blueberry jam. I think that's the best PB&J, is a blueberry and peanut butter. Yeah, I could do a D&D classes tier list, but that's not really that obscure these days. I could also do Smash characters for sure. Have I had the new cherry and cream Pepsi? There's 0 sugar version, I think. I haven't had cherry and cream. I've had strawberry and cream. And I think they have... I know there's like a black cherry one. But yeah, I believe they have a zero sugar version of all of their drinks, if I'm not mistaken. But I haven't had the cherry one. Rank the best twisting gel for locks. I wouldn't know because I have never used a twisting gel. I think this surprises people when I tell them, or at least people who don't have experience with dreadlocks. But my hair is like completely natural. I don't put anything in it ever. I just have that hair texture that causes it to lock and mat up naturally. Trading card game tier list. I haven't really played enough games to really make a good tier list for trading card games. I would like to play more of them though. Jerry's stand up in the beginning of each episode is so mid. Yeah, I mean, I think some episodes are better than others in terms of that. But it just kind of depends if you like Jerry Seinfeld's version of stand-up, his style, which I kind of like it. But the show is definitely funnier than the stand-up. Red Plum Jerry. I don't know if I've had, or Jerry, Red Plum Jelly. I don't know if I've had that. I said Red Plum Jerry. That's funny. D&D classes tier list would be, S tier would be Druid, Cleric, Bard. A tier, Fighter. B tier, Rogue, Ranger, C tier, Barbarian, Paladin. Actually, I think Wizard would probably be like A tier. But I don't know. Barbs and Paladin, that's my I have no affinity towards Barbarians or Paladins. How long have you been growing your locks? When people ask me that, the answer that I usually give is the last time that I cut or did anything to my hair was 2009, I'm pretty sure. And at some point after that point, they became locks, and I've been growing them since then. They call me Red Plum Jerry down at the club. What's the last movie you watched? Probably Thunderbolts. I don't watch a lot of movies. I think it was Thunderbolts. If you really want to go wild, blackcurrant jam inside a grilled cheese sandwich. Interesting. I mean, I've never had blackcurrant jam, but you know, I've had like jam on a burger before, and that's good. So I can imagine that sort of mix being good. There's a lot of people who think Jerry is not a great actor on Seinfeld. I disagree. I think he plays a straight man character super well, and his humor is pretty subtle, which is cool. Well, I think he's just kind of playing a version of himself. But I think even Jerry, in fact, I'm pretty sure he himself has said that he wasn't a very good actor on that show. He just had a role that he played, and he played it well enough for the show to work. What was the last live music you saw? I don't know. It probably has been a while. I don't go to a lot of live music. I saw a couple of local bands at a bar not too long ago, but I couldn't tell you what the name of the bands were. That was probably the last time I saw live music. Yeah, I don't really do a lot of live music. Jalapeno jelly on a burger slaps. Yeah. I like that sort of that combination. That spicy jelly, spicy jam. Jam and a grilled cheese sounds like the entire charcuterie board. As a hardcore Seinfeld nerd, I'm working hard to not spam chat. I mean, it's up to you. You know, I made a 30-minute video about Seinfeld, so I clearly have no issues with talking about Seinfeld. I went and saw the Aquabats recently. Are you familiar with them? I've heard about the Aquabats. I don't really know the music, but I've heard of it. It's like this kids ska band that rules. They have a show. Interesting. Yeah, I've heard of it, but yeah, I don't really know anything about it. I'm out of the loop as usual. Great video today. Thank you. It was a couple days ago, but I think it was Saturday, but that's fine. That's probably how I found your channel. Possibly. The Seinfeld video did pretty well, and it's one of those videos that continues to get views, so I think a lot of people found my channel through that video. I started looking into the pantheon of goblinoids. Very interesting stuff. Oh, like in D&D? Yeah, I guess I don't know that much about the goblin pantheon. I've been wanting to do, like in D&D, goblins are like a very typical sort of low level monster. But I've been wanting to like do more with goblins. I think goblins are super cool. Growing up, were there any foods you hated and refused to eat? Well, olives, and I still refuse to eat them. I came out the womb hating olives, and I still hate them. There are some foods that I used to hate that I like now. I think probably the biggest example of that is tomatoes. Even up through high school, I always hated tomatoes, but now I love tomatoes. Another one is okra. I don't really like okra that much, and I never did. My mom used to make me eat okra. It was so gross. I used to dislike Brussels sprouts, but I like them now. A U.S. state tier list just on vibes alone, even if you've never been. Possibly. I don't know. I feel like that could get into the area of sort of being reductive and stereotypical. And then a lot of states, I think, get judged by specific cities. Like you may judge California just because of LA, but LA is just one city in California. Speaking of 0-calorie drinks, I have a caffeine-free Diet Coke. Which my understanding is that a lot of people do not think those taste good, but I have acquired the taste. Seinfeld season tier list. Interesting. Seinfeld is a pretty consistent show. I'd say probably, I don't know, seasons like 2 through 5 are all like really good. Maybe even beyond that. I feel like S tier would be like seasons 3 through 7. And then A tier is like season 2 and season 8. Or seasons 1, 2, and 8. And then B tier is season 9. Have you ever been approached by a stranger in real life who recognized you from your YouTube channel? I have. It has happened a couple times. It doesn't happen a lot, but it has happened once or twice, which is always weird because I never expect that to happen because I'm not that big of a YouTuber. But it's happened before, yeah. I'm certain there's a way to make okra work. Well, I live in the South, and a lot of people in the South like fried okra. It's a pretty common thing down here, but I still don't like it. I played a goblin on D&D. Disengaging as a free action is powerful, especially when paired with illusions. Is it a free action? I thought it was a bonus action. Anyway, yeah, it's pretty good. Disengage, I think, is an underrated action. People don't do it enough. Campaign where everyone is a goblin, you defend your cave from increasingly strong waves of heroes. Yeah, see, I like stuff like that. That's a good idea. I might use that. Which Seinfeld characters make the best vampires? Well, what defines a good vampire? Is it a vampire that would be cool to meet, or a vampire that would be good at being a vampire? Like whatever vampires do. Good at like seducing people and drinking their blood. City vibe tier list. I can only talk about cities that I know about, and there's only a few. And I think I'm biased to the South because I've been to cities in the South more often. For example, I love New Orleans and Nashville. It's probably two of my favorite cities that I've ever been to. There's a run in season 4 of about 8 episodes, and it's seriously the best run of episodes in the entire show. Yeah, like I said, the show's really consistent. I think I prefer the earlier seasons to the later seasons. Like probably like seasons 2 through 5 I like better than 7 through 9. Because the show gets like more and more wacky as it goes on, which is fine, I guess. But I kind of preferred the more grounded episodes that was more about like the dialogue than the hijinks. I want to say I appreciate your use of the Odd World Follow Me audio. Yeah, a lot of people seem to like that. Just a little Easter egg on my channel. Who could put up the best fight against Blade in the Seinfeld universe? Probably Elaine. I think Elaine is the most cold-hearted. Elaine would be able to do what needs to be done. I think Kramer is too friendly, and George and Jerry are all talk. They would never actually do anything. They'd just be talking the whole time. George is too much of a coward. Maybe Newman. Newman's kind of ruthless. Good Place season tier list. That's easy because there's only 4 seasons. And also that's another consistent show. S tier 1, 2, and 4. A tier 3. The season where they go back to the real world is a little bit worse than the other seasons, but it's still good. I hesitate to talk about The Good Place because I want people to watch it without being spoiled. It's one of those shows that you need to watch without being spoiled. But you know, it's like 10 years old at this point, so Elaine goes through a lot of transformation. Season 1, 2, Elaine couldn't. Season 7 through 9, Elaine absolutely would. Yeah, for sure. That's what my video's about. Yeah. Absolutely. I don't know if you like Van Halen. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I am familiar with Van Halen, but I don't know enough about them to answer preference questions. Scrubs or Community season tier list would be more controversial. Yeah, I have not finished either of those shows. Well, I've probably seen every episode of Scrubs. I'm not sure. Well, at least I haven't seen like the reboot of Scrubs or whatever that is. But I definitely haven't seen all of Community. That's something I'm working on. I will say I've seen like up through season 4 of of Community. And I feel like most people say that it starts getting good on season 2, but I think season 1 is the best. so far. Like every episode of season 1 of Community is amazing. What's your opinion on Grey's Anatomy? I don't think I have ever seen an episode of Grey's Anatomy. What about Dan Halen? That's funny. That's a good name. Favorite Community episodes? It's cliche, but probably the coolest episode is the Chaos Theory episode, the alternate timeline episode. That's just like one of the coolest episodes of television, period. But that show is like, it starts off so strong. Like every episode is good in like the first 2 seasons. What about the D&D episode is good. The problem is, at least when I was watching it, it's hard to find because they took it off streaming because of the blackface. But that's, that there's so many cool episodes of that show. I like stuff like that. Like, I don't know, like I feel like showrunners are not incentivized to make cool, groundbreaking shows like that. And as you probably know, your Community like struggled and got canceled and everything, and it's like, it's crazy. Like the show is so good and they're doing all this cool stuff, but for some reason people aren't watching it because I think stuff like that doesn't work because networks want those just feel good sitcoms, or at least at the time they wanted those feel good sitcoms that were familiar, that didn't rock the boat too much. You just want like a funny fat dad and a hot wife making jokes, the just the typical stuff, and it works. I say that in jest, but it works. People loved that shit. The Big Bang Theory is one of the most popular shows of all time. And it has a unique premise, but at the end of the day, it's just Friends, except with nerds. They just had a formula and it worked. And that's what networks want. And that's why shows like Community don't get made that much. I think The Good Place was allowed to be made because Michael Schur, at that point, who's the creator of The Good Place, he had earned enough, clout to kind of do whatever he wanted. And that I'm glad that he made it that far in his career where he's like, I'm gonna make a crazy bizarre show about people who died and went to heaven. He definitely couldn't have done that for his first show. If you could visit one other country, what would it be? That's a hard one because I want to visit like all the countries. I think New Zealand is probably pretty high on my list, but I want to go everywhere. Sweden, UK, Italy, Greece, Brazil, Ecuador. There's so many places I want to visit. What's the meaning of life? The meaning of life? I don't think there is a meaning to life. I think each person kind of ascribes their own meaning to their life. or prescribes. Is it prescribe or ascribe? I don't know which word goes there. I'm one of those people who don't like to show Friends, but I feel like the theme song is the best theme song of all time. It is an iconic theme song for sure. It is hard not to sing along when you hear that song. Would you play a Big Bang Theory theme version of Elden Ring, Sheldon Ring? Which Golden Girl am I? I want to say Sophia, but I'm probably wait, I forgot what's B. Arthur's character's name? I'm probably that character. Actually, I'm probably Betty White. Go pretend to be a hobbit in New Zealand. Never watched an episode of Friends, but I know the theme by heart. That makes sense. I'm sure it's hard to be a human on Earth that can understand English and not have heard the Friends theme. Honestly, even if you don't understand English, you probably heard it. I hope the Rembrandts got paid handsomely for that. I'm not even sure if they have. They probably didn't. They probably just made the song and then got paid, and then that was it. Dorothy is B. Arthur. Yeah, I forgot the characters. I haven't watched that show in a while. That's a show that it's on my list to rewatch because that's a really good show. It's genuinely funny. You know, a lot of sitcoms, you know, they're humorous and they make you feel good, but it's rare for them to just give you like a genuine belly laugh. Only certain shows can do that. And I think that's one of them. I've been saying you're Betty White for years now. I believe it. Well, it's just like the, you know, it's the there's like a name for it, for like the 4 personality types, like the 4 humors. It's just like the Ninja Turtles. You know, Betty White is Michelangelo. It's like the 4 houses of Hogwarts. Hufflepuff. I don't know if we're allowed to talk about Harry Potter these days, but you know what I mean. Speaking of Seinfeld's the same thing. Whenever you've got a squad of 4 characters, they all have the same overlap of those 4 personality types. Am I into video games? I'm one of those people that I will get into like very specific games and be obsessed with them, but I'm not one of those people that just plays all of the games that come out. So I'm pretty out of the loop when it comes to like the popular AAA games. I usually don't play them, but every now and then I will find a game that I get really obsessed with. Like I really like Overwatch a lot. I got really into Balatro, but I haven't played it in a while. But I was playing Balatro obsessively for a few months. I play Smash Brothers. I feel like Sophia is more Raphael and Dorothy is more Leonardo or Donatello. But, you know, it's up for debate. Actually, no, I agree with you. You're right. Disregard what I just said. I think Dorothy is Raphael. Watched Starship Troopers the other day and was surprised that Rue McClanahan was in there. Is she? I don't even remember that. Rue McClanahan was on Boy Meets World. That's another cameo. What character did I main in Overwatch? My favorite character is Reinhardt. But I play most recently I've been playing Soldier 76. But my absolute favorite character is Reinhardt. I just like being a big man swinging a hammer on people. Is hilarious. What's the genre or era of music that gets trashed on that you unironically love? The 90s bands that are similar to the Rembrandts, like Hootie and the Blowfish, went through the gutter of criticism. Yeah. Does 80s music get trashed on? I love 80s music. Probably the answer to that for me is dubstep. I love dubstep, but people kind of hate on it. Dubstep had a moment for like a year, and then everybody was like, actually, this is bad, but I still like it. Not that I know a lot about dubstep, I just like the sound of it. Nickelback is the greatest music genre. I think Nickelback is fine. It just became a meme to hate on Nickelback, but they're fine. Earth Rester, thank you for the $5. Chili, beans or no beans? No beans. I'm not a bean guy. I respect beans in certain cases, but I think that having no beans is superior than having beans. But there are certain cases where I like beans. Like my family makes a rice dish, a coconut rice dish with black beans in it that's really good. Have I played Azur Lane? I have not. Hell nah, 80s music is goated. Yeah, it's probably not trashed on, but I love like 80s, just kind of 80s music in general. Just the 80s vibe was cool to me across the board. I like 80s pop music, 80s R&B, 80s rock music. Just something about the 80s was just like, people just seemed like they were having a good time. She was a professor with some sick cyber sunglasses and an Arnie haircut, completely off typecast. Interesting. I don't remember that at all. Did I listen to the Clips album? No. Apparently I need to, though, because multiple people are asking me about it. How do you feel about bean these nuts? Good one. Mexican food started my love of beans. Yeah, I don't know. Like a bean burrito, it's just like, just use meat. Why are you using beans? Especially the ones with the dog in the commercials. Oh yeah, the roll that beautiful bean footage. Would I rather have a dog-sized elephant or a cat-sized hippo? Probably a cat-sized hippo. Do you remember September? Badia. Nickelback was overexposed in the 2000s and they were just okay, which led to the hate. That's fair. I think a lot of bands and acts were overexposed. But, you know, it's good for them. They got the bag. MTV was really bad about that. They were like, you know what? We're going to make you listen to Limp Bizkit every day, whether you like it or not. So it was really easy to get tired of Limp Bizkit. And they did that with a lot of acts. Beans and meat. Yeah, the dog's named Duke. They had a photo app that you could take pictures with the dude and Duke. Yeah, I remember that actually. maybe you showed it to me. I feel like I've definitely seen that before. Songs in the 80s were much more melodic and were not afraid of a minor tone scale. Yeah, there was you know, there's that. I think there was also there's a lot of synthy stuff back then. They used a lot of reverb. Also, I was a big fan of the 80s fashion, like the teased hair and stuff that was cool to me. There's a fly in here that is... I swear, like, I just be chilling. No one's bothering me. And then when I turn the camera on and turn the lights on, this fly starts flying around. Favorite Limp Bizkit album? I don't know. At this point, they got a bunch of albums that I've never heard. I was never like a huge Limp Bizkit fan. I think they're fine, but I just remember MTV making sure that I listened to Nookie like every day. But my understanding is that after they sort of faded from the spotlight, they continued to like make pretty decent music. Do I think Frosted Tips should make a comeback? I mean, if it makes people happy, I would. Frosted Tips is not my preference, but you know, I don't have the hair for it anyway. Being in Atlanta in 2001 and listening to the radio sucked for music. Didn't even know System of a Down, all of them even existed. Only Korn, Limp Bizkit. Yeah, they played the hell out of Korn and Limp Bizkit back in the day. I remember being aware of System of a Down at least when like Chop Suey came out. Fred Durst from Limp Bizkit is how I feel about David Lee Roth of Van Halen. Frontman was charismatic but corny as heck, but the music behind them was so good you can't help but listen. Yeah, I think that sounds about right based on what people say about Limp Bizkit. You watching Dan to Dan? I don't know what that is. Nope. Also, the 2000s was the era where the indie rock kids and were fans of bands like The Strokes and fans of bands like Nickelback and Puddle of Mud did not get along. Yeah, I think by the 2000s I was like mostly a hip hop head. I listened to pop and rock here and there, but that's when I really got into hip hop. I They were hated on, but NSYNC and Backstreet Boys used to make bangers back in the day. Absolutely. I was especially a fan of NSYNC. I think I even had an NSYNC album. Fred Durst made a movie with John Travolta called The Fanatic. Watch it. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, that movie was filmed in Birmingham, Alabama, which is where I live. Yeah, so at least some of it. In March 2018, principal photography began in Birmingham, Alabama. Yeah, because people were talking about it, and like Fred Durst was like showing up at like bars and stuff that my friends go to and stuff like that. I never danced, but I know every step to Bye Bye Bye. I'm sure you're not alone on that. How do you feel about the current state of gaming? Microtransactions, $80 base price for games. I think the current state of like AAA games is pretty trash right now. I don't necessarily mind microtransactions in a vacuum. The problem is when they start getting like predatory and weird and stupid, or like, you know, if you have to pay to like play the game properly, or if it's like basically gambling, you know, things like that. $80 base price for games is tough, but it's a nuanced thing. I don't really see myself paying $80 for 99% of games. I have to really, really want the game to pay that much for it. But the issue is these games they're becoming more and more ambitious, and like I think people appreciate a high quality game. If you see a game like Baldur's Gate 3, for example, everybody loved that game. That's like one of the most ambitious and largest and fullest games ever made, and those games are expensive to make, and these games are like the budgets for these games these days are in the hundreds of millions of dollars, and so to some extent they have to charge $80 or else they're just never gonna make that money back. So it's kind of nuanced. The way I feel though is if you're gonna spend, you know, $500 million making a video game, you better make sure it's a damn good video game. But I think now is a very good time to be supporting indie developers that are just out there doing it for the love of the game, because if we don't support them, they're going to fade away, and all we're going to have is these $80 games that, you know, that are like released before they're finished, to have a bunch of microtransactions that can like turn off the game whenever they want, even though you already paid for it, you know, turn off the service and stuff like that. We have to let the industry know that there are certain things that we want in our video games. Do you think Fred Durst inspired Trump to start wearing those dumb red hats? I don't know. I'm okay with $7 games on the Switch too, but I don't buy games that are hidden electronic titles where the cartridge is just a physical license ID. Yeah, but that's like all console games now, I think, right? That's the problem. It's like the standard now. I heard, I could be wrong, but I've heard with the Nintendo Switch, their games have like a unique key on each cartridge now, where it's possible that in the future you won't even be able to share cartridges on other systems, if that's not already the case. Correct me if I'm wrong. I want all games to go blockchain. I want to actually own the game and the things I grind for in the game. Yeah, it's that's bad. And there are people fighting for that right now, but yeah, it kind of sucks that we don't own the games that we buy. I mean, to be fair, you never really technically owned the game, because if you owned it, you could make copies of it and resell it and stuff, which was never legal. But when you had a physical copy of a game, you could pay it. I mean, you could do whatever you wanted with that physical copy. I'm pretty sure it was illegal to like make copies of it and stuff like that. Like, I don't like, if you bought like Sonic the Hedgehog 2 on Sega Genesis and like made a physical copy of it and sold it, I think that was illegal. I could be wrong. But you still owned the physical copy of the game. You could play it whenever you wanted. They couldn't like disable it remotely, and that's the way it should be. I've been full indie since 2018. So many great games out there that are much more creative. Yeah, and that's part of it too. We're seeing more creative things as well, because they're doing it for the love of the game. They just want to make interesting games. They're not just trying to make money. And I don't begrudge people trying to make money. That's fine. But that's why people talk about like late capitalism, which I think it has become kind of a buzzword where a lot of people just say it anytime anything bad happens. But we're at this point where it seems like there's no desire it seems like the consumer experience doesn't matter anymore. It's just all about making the money. I saw a TikTok of Gen Z kids not knowing Justin Timberlake was in NSYNC and millennials clowning them for it. To be honest, I think my teenage self would be just as ignorant, even with smartphones and info today. Yeah, for sure. I mean, if it's all in fun, I guess, but every generation is, you're not going to know everything that happened in history. I was talking to somebody recently. They were telling me that they really liked the song "Come Together" by Michael Jackson, and I told them, that's a cover of a Beatles song. They didn't know that it was a cover of a Beatles song. Sometimes you just don't know stuff because it just wasn't on your radar. If you like Diablo, you should check out Grim Dawn. It's what Diablo 3 should have been, and there's new DLC coming out. Grim Dawn, interesting. There are titles that have the online licenses, and there are games that are on the cartridges. So, did I say Diablo earlier, by the way, or did I say Baldur's Gate? I meant to say Baldur's Gate if I said Diablo. Anyway, have you heard of the Stop Killing Games initiative? And if so, do you support it? I haven't heard of it. I don't know all the details, but from what I understand, it sounds like something I support. It seems like they just want developers to allow people to play the game that they paid for, even after they don't want to support it anymore, which makes sense to me. There should definitely be some kind of regulation, because as it stands, it seems like right now a developer could make an online service game, take money for it, even take a subscription fee for it, and then just kill it after like 6 months if they wanted to. And that shouldn't be allowed. They could just turn the game off after, building up a bunch of hype releasing it and then just turning the game off after a few months. That seems like it seems like they shouldn't be allowed to do that. Am I familiar with decentralized autonomous organizations? I think that would be a great way to have the players actually own the game. No, I'm not super familiar with that. Too super familiar. Hey T1J, hope you're doing well. I am doing well. Thanks for the comment, Undead Brett. I was just on the Renegade podcast, which you guessed it on. Oh, cool. Yeah, that was a pretty interesting conversation. Oh, by the way, there's a poll. It's probably obvious. You can probably see it on the chat, but I just want to get you guys opinions on what would be the best time to start the stream. I assume that late afternoon, evening is better because people got jobs, but let me know. But then again, Michael had all the rights of all the Beatles songs, and Paul was furious that he snatched them away in negotiations with the label. Is that true? I didn't know that. I thought that Paul was on board with that deal. I could be wrong though. I don't really know. That's just what I have been led to believe. What's something you always want to make a video about but haven't yet? Well, I do a lot of videos about TV shows, and there are a lot of TV shows that I want to make videos about. I have a long list. The issue is that, at least for me, in order to make the videos the way that I want to make them, this requires me to watch the show, to rewatch the show or watch it for the first time in its entirety, which takes a lot of time. So eventually I'll get to some of these shows, but there's a lot of shows that I want to do. I want to do Malcolm in the Middle, King of the Hill, Cosby Show, Living Single, Community. There's a lot of shows I want to, a lot of shows I want to do videos about. Did you see the video of JD Vance running? I did not. JD Vance is cringe though, so the kill the game off after a few months is a common thing with early access game on Steam. Is that is or isn't? Because there's a T there. I assume is, but yeah, if that happens, that sucks. It just seems like you shouldn't be able to do that. That seems unethical to me. Oh, Devin, what's up? Thanks for the interview. Yeah, it was fun. Thanks for inviting me. Yeah, I did an interview earlier today. That should be coming out at some point. If whenever that comes out, I'll let everybody know. We'd love to see a news radio video. Yeah, that's a pretty good show. I need to rewatch that. It is that one. I don't think I've seen since I was a kid, actually, but I remember liking it. What's a show you want to do an episode on but can never do to it being lost media? I don't know. I haven't really encountered that yet. I can usually find everything. It like these days, most things are findable. But we'll see. I mean, it may be possible. I got lucky, like with I did a video about Kid Nation, which is a reality show where a bunch of kids run a town. And the only reason I was able to find that show is because someone randomly put all of the episodes on YouTube. And also someone just randomly uploaded them to their Dropbox or something. So, because I don't think that show's on streaming, if I'm not mistaken. So sometimes you just get lucky. But as of yet, I have not encountered a show that I can't find. And to be fair, I've been mostly done like pretty popular shows. But even when I think of a sort of obscure show, I can usually find it somehow. The internet is wild. He does this little skip scamper kind of move. Do you think JD Vance actually had intimate relations with the couch? I don't know. That's such a specific detail. I think Jose did news radio. I believe Jose did do news radio. The McRib is back. What's your favorite D&D class? Probably cleric. Either cleric or druid. Do you have any interest in discussing dramas? If so, would love to hear your thoughts on the Wire versus Breaking Bad debate. Not sure why these shows get compared so much, but that's the internet. I think that there's a possibility that I could discuss a drama. The reason that I do sitcoms is because that's just what I grew up loving and watching. I don't really have a lot of affinity for drama shows because I just didn't grow up watching those. But it's possible that I could find a show that is interesting now and make a video about it. Like, that's definitely within the realm of possibility. I've never seen The Wire or Breaking Bad though. And that's likely the case for most drama shows, especially most contemporary drama shows, because I don't really watch them. And honestly, to be fair, I don't really watch a lot of TV in general. But if I'm watching TV, it's either an MCU show or a sitcom. But sometimes I do get a little bit interested in a show. Like, for example, I have interest in the show Lost, even though I haven't seen it and I don't know when I would ever sit down to watch it. But there's a little part of my brain that's like, maybe one day I'll watch Lost. It's interesting. I don't really have any affinity or specific interest in watching Breaking Bad, but I do have an interest in watching Better Call Saul. But I feel like I should watch Breaking Bad before watching Better Call Saul. So we'll see if I end up watching either show. I was one of the types of people that will upload old media to YouTube and other platforms, especially those who have terabytes of media. What type of goblinoid race would you want to play as a cleric? I don't know. I just play like a little goblin. I think I just like goblins. Goblins are cool. I know there's like hobgoblins and bugbears and stuff, but I don't really feel like they fit cleric that well. I think I'd play like a goblin cleric and like flavor it as something like a shaman or something like that. Do you like the Alabama Crimson Tide? Do you see this poster on the wall? You see this right here? Is that what sparked the question? Anyway, that's a Alabama Crimson Tide poster. The answer is yes. I actually went to the University of Alabama myself. I didn't graduate, but I went. Have you heard people are trying to cancel ContraPoints again? Not sure why anyone thinks they can topple the queen. I've heard a little bit about that. I'm not sure exactly what happened. I think she had a take about Israel Palestine or something. I don't really even know what she said, but I'd have to look into it. I generally trust that Natalie is a reasonable and compassionate person, so I'll just have to see. How do you feel about elves? Elves are fine. I don't have anything against elves. Honestly, when I play D&D, it's interesting. When I play D&D, I almost always play a human. I'm not exactly sure why. I just feel like when I imagine characters, I always kind of imagine them as human. But every now and then I'll play something else. Like I have like a Dragonborn character that I really like. And you know, goblins are cool. I've never actually played as a goblin, but I would like to. Well, I've played like an NPC that's a goblin, but I've never played a player character that was a goblin. But yeah. I find Breaking Bad more entertaining, but Better Call Saul is arguably the better written show. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say that Better Call Saul is possibly better. Do you ever find yourself watching old 80s and 90s commercials on YouTube? I have done that before. Yeah, there are like I think there's like a hour-long compilation of like old commercials, or maybe even a couple hours. There's a crazy 80s show, Highwaymen, with Sam Jones and Tim Russ, one driving a truck with a built-in helicopter, and the sidekick a tuck like in Aliens. I've never heard of that. Have you been watching the Sopranos Star Trek TNG crossover edits? I have not seen that. That sounds interesting. You playing a Plasmoid rogue in my Spelljammer game and you know it? Plasmoid? I don't know about that. That's funny though. I don't think I would play a Plasmoid though. I don't know, maybe. But a Plasmoid NPC would be great. I might put a Plasmoid in my current game. Don't start to watch Lost. Was fun to talk with all the folk in the net when it was airing. Now just spare yourself the disappointment in the end. Yeah, it seems to be a common sentiment. Sloan didn't read. Contra says she sympathizes with Palestinians but criticized the way some leftists are handling the IP issue online. It's a non-controversy to anyone not terminally online. Usually I would say it seems like it would be more complicated than that for people to be so upset. But honestly, I have seen people be upset over nonsense like that. So I honestly believe it. And honestly, you know, I have issues with the way leftists handle almost everything online. So I probably sympathize with her take, but that's why I don't really comment on that issue, because it does not seem to be an issue that people are interested in being normal about. Halloween commercials for me and Japanese commercials. Oh yeah, I've definitely watched both of those. My favorite Japanese commercial is the Wonder Core commercial. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's like an exercise machine. It's hard to describe. You just have to watch it. But yeah, it's hilarious. Long man. I'm definitely no long man. If you could have dinner with anyone famous, alive or dead, who would it be? I don't know. That's like a common question. That's a hard one. There's so many interesting people. Like you could literally just name any historical figure and it would probably be a good answer. Like Frederick Douglass. That'd be probably a super interesting conversation. There's like famous people that I would like to meet because I think they're cool. Like Snoop Dogg or like Keke Palmer. But you know, I don't even know how to answer that question. I know it's a common question, but it's like such a hard question to answer. I want to do a heist movie one shot for Spelljammer. Potions 11, Plasmoid Rogue is the save cracker. Potions 11. Oh yeah. I think you told me about that. Would you consider doing any Game of Thrones or Song of Ice and Fire content in the future? It seems unlikely. I've never seen Game of Thrones and I don't really have any specific desire to watch it, but and it's kind of like no one cares about it anymore. I kind of missed the boat on that one. Do you play games in VR, own a headset? I don't own a headset. I have played VR games. My brother has a an old HTC Vive, and a couple of my friends have the PlayStation VR. So I've played certain games, but yeah, I wouldn't say that I'm like up to date on it. Probably my favorite VR game that I ever played is Super Hot. It's super fun. It's also fun not in VR. But I'm sure at this point there's probably so many like cool VR games that have come out. Have I watched the new season of Black Mirror? Nope. I haven't seen the old season of Black Mirror either. I told you I don't watch shows. William Howard Taft, you know he eating good. Another person asked me about the Clips album. I gotta listen to this Clips album, I guess. Everyone is talking about it, it seems. Easier question, would you swipe right if Abe Lincoln was hitting you up on Tinder? That's an easier question? That's what you came up with? If Abe Lincoln reanimated and was alive today and he hit me up on Tinder, I feel like you have to swipe right on Abe Lincoln. Just for the story. Have you watched The Expanse? Nope. Have you watched any of the Critical Role Let's Play? You mean just Critical Role? Yeah, I've seen all of season campaign 1 and 2 of Critical Role, and I'm like 65-ish episodes into campaign 3. I've seen the first season of the animated show. I have not seen more of it. I'll probably watch it at some point. If you were cast in a show, would you want to be the hero or villain character? I guess it depends on the show. I think I would probably not be very good at playing a villain, but it would probably be fun. It'd probably be more fun to be the villain. And also, I have like a bucket list idea where I want to die in a movie. or a show. I just think it would be so surreal to watch yourself die on TV, especially if it's like a really gruesome death. And that's more likely to happen if I'm a villain. So what's one big project you would like to do but don't have the resources to right now? I want to do some kind of narrative show. I would like I love sitcoms and I would like to make one. But I don't want to. I basically just want to write it and just have other people make it, because I don't really. It seems like show running a show sounds like too much work. But I'd love to write it. There's a place in town. It's like a VR arena. I think I know what you're talking about. I feel like I would have to do Lincoln just to say I did. Yeah, exactly. What would be your weapon of choice in a zombie apocalypse? I don't know. I don't feel like I would do very well in a zombie apocalypse, but I guess you can never go wrong with like a shotgun or something like that. But I don't know. If I was in a zombie apocalypse, I'd be that black dude that dies at the beginning of the movie for sure. I'm not the hero in that situation. Either I'm dying in the middle in the beginning of the movie, or I'm just like locking myself in a closet and just waiting it out. If you can learn martial arts from a fighting game character, who would it be? Well, Goku is in a bunch of fighting games. I could pick Goku. Seems like that'd be a good person. Do you think there's a better timeline where Ben Shapiro became a Hollywood writer instead of a conservative news pundit? Maybe. I think we're definitely in the bad timeline, so it's possible that happens in the better timeline. Have you ever seen Third Rock from the Sun? I have. Great show. Do you tend to like the gimmicky sitcoms or more realistic ones? I really don't care. I like all sitcoms. Yeah. I like them all. It's just, some of them are good and some of them are less good. And it doesn't really matter, like, what they're about, Yes on The Expanse and a pass on Game of Thrones. I know a lot of people did not like the ending of Game of Thrones. A local business has new arcade machines. What do you hope to see there? I don't know. There's actually a new an arcade bar that opened up my town, but it's mostly like retro games. In terms of arcade games, I just like fighting games. So as long as there's a bunch of fighting games, like if you've got like Marvel versus Capcom and like Tekken and Street Fighter, I'm probably good. Which is better, The Office or Parks and Rec? Both are really great shows, but I like Parks and Rec better. Especially in terms of like the consistency of the show, because The Office is like really good for like 5 seasons or so, and then it's still fine, but it's noticeably not as good in the later seasons. But Parks and Rec is pretty good all the way through. Some people argue that the last season of Parks and Rec is not as good, but I think it's fine. Thoughts on Tyler Perry? Seems like people either love him or hate him, no in between. I don't think I know that much about Tyler Perry, but I don't really have any negative feelings. I think he just found the thing that he knows how to do and he just does it. So if you like that thing, then you're probably okay with him, and if you don't like that thing, then you don't like it. I respect the fact that he he gives a lot of black people jobs. And he provides opportunities for black people that a lot of other powerful people in Hollywood do not provide. So I respect him for that. Are you a chocoholic? I wouldn't say I'm a chocoholic, but I do like chocolate. Probably as much as the average person. Would your family and friends more likely cry at you dying in a movie or laugh at you dying in a movie? I think they'd probably laugh. I don't know. I can't imagine any of them crying. If you made first contact with an alien, what would you say to them? What would I say? I don't know. It kind of depends. Is this alien some kind of greater intelligence, or is it just some dudes? They're just some dudes that just be like, "What's up? What's going on? What do you guys like to do?" I would just, I just try to treat them like a normal person. I don't know that I have anything specifically interesting to say. What songs you vibing this summer? I don't know, probably nothing. I don't really keep up with music. I just when I listen to music, I just listen to songs that I already like that I just grown to love over the years. I don't really keep up with new music. I'm trying to think if there's any specific song that I've been listening to. Yeah, not really. Speaking of 80s music, I just like listen to like old songs. Like I recently, it's not something that's just I've been vibing with, but it just comes to mind because I listened to it recently. I listened to the song "Walk Like an Egyptian." It's like one of my absolute favorite songs of all time, and I listened to it recently because it's a good song. But yeah, that's when it comes to music. I don't like really listen to new music that much. It rules. Let's go. Yeah, I actually went one time. It was like really busy when I went though, and it was kind of like too many people there. And yeah, they have a Melee setup, a Smash Brothers setup, but when I went to like play, and all the controllers were like fucked up and sticky. I don't know if I just went on a bad day or if someone had messed up the controllers that day or something, but who would win in a fighting game, Superman or Goku? In a fighting game, I guess it depends on who's the better player, huh? Do you feel like Zoomers are more apathetic than millennials? Anecdotal, I know, but most of the ones I know are always so doom and gloom about everything. It seems like Gen Z is more jaded than millennials are. Millennials seem very emotional about stuff, and Gen Z seems a little more stoic, at least in my experience. Are we alone in the universe? Is there life in the universe besides humans? Probably. Will we ever discover that life? We may discover, like, you know, microscopic life on nearby planets. Will we ever discover intelligent life? Almost certainly not. The universe is just too big. It takes too long to get anywhere. They're alien dudes who can speak English for whatever reason. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like, I feel like we have a lot of the word slipped my mind. We have a lot of presumptions about aliens. We either think they're gonna be like just totally evil and want to kill us, or we think they're gonna be like extremely wise and, you know, look down on humans because we're just so stupid. But they're probably just gonna be regular dudes that like have their own issues and their own societal problems. So it's like, I'd probably just be like, hey, you're probably just another person. Like, do you want to hang out? Are you nice? You know, I might meet the alien version of Elon Musk or something and be like, wow, this dude sucks. You never know. What is best in life? Very broad question. I don't know. I'm sure that answer is different for everyone. But I don't know. That's way too broad. What is best? Do you think Will Smith will bounce back in good graces with the public eventually? It seems like he already has for the most part. It's weird. It seems that your taste in music dies, freeze after you turn 30. I don't think I just stopped really seeking out music. I think there are people who just are obsessed with music and constantly seek it out. I'm just not one of those people. Oh, was that a reference, Undead Brett? I guess I didn't get it. What do you prefer, streaming an entire season at your convenience or watching an episode per week? I don't know. Honestly, watching an episode per week is probably better. It's interesting. This actually is kind of similar to the argument that I made in my video, my most recent video, for those that haven't seen it. It is I don't want to spoil too much because it kind of spoils the show, but it's basically about the afterlife, and it discusses what the best afterlife is. And I kind of basically make the argument that it's better to have to work for things than to just have things handed to you. And that's kind of an example of that, because sure, it's very convenient to just have all of the episodes of a show just ready and you can binge them whenever you want. But it is so much more satisfying when you're waiting for something to come out, when you're just like so excited about the new episode and you finally get to watch it. It feels so much better, so much more satisfying. It's less convenient, and that period where you're waiting is a little bit uncomfortable and maybe a little bit unpleasant, but once it finally drops, it's so much sweeter. Have I played Claire Obscure yet? No, a lot of people are talking about that though. That might be something to check out. What are your top 3 Arnold Schwarzenegger films? Terminator 2 is definitely number 1. Outside of that, I'd have to think. I don't know. Jingle All the Way might be up there. Twins. I don't know. He's got so many bangers. I'll just go with those three for now. But that requires some thinking. But Terminator 2 is definitely number one because Terminator 2 is maybe my top 3 or top 5 favorite movies of all time. Oh, is that from Conan the Barbarian? The new video was a good one or maybe a medium one. Do you think Trump supporters will finally break over him not releasing the Epstein files, or are those people completely gone? I don't know, man. Trump supporters are weird. There's always going to be people that will support Trump regardless of what he does and regardless of what happens. But it does seem like this thing is like really bothering some of those far right people. Yeah, I got you, Goldorado. I understood what you were doing there. Thank you, Randall. Appreciate that. Appreciate the kind words. Predator for sure. Yeah, there's so many good ones. Predator, Total Recall, Last Action Hero, Kindergarten Cop, Commando. Commando is hilarious. It's hard to pick 3. Thoughts on Joan Jett and music that isn't thrown at you? I'm not sure what you mean by music that isn't thrown at you, but I think Joan Jett is fine. I don't know that much about Joan Jett, but I have generally positive feelings about Joan Jett's music. It's from Conan, but originally from Genghis Khan. How about an Arnold movie tier list? That's interesting. I feel like I would need to watch the movies again, to be honest. I want to see. I just want to see if people have made one. Of course they have. Why would I even doubt it? I probably won't do that right now though, because I'm probably not gonna be streaming for too much longer. But just to prove that somebody did. This is what someone else said. I don't know. I'd have to look through it to see if I agree. But this is correct. Terminator 2 is the best one. They have Terminator 1 is really good too, to be honest. They have Total Recall up here. Commando is so good. I don't know if I would put it up here. Commando is just funny. Like, I think Arnold Schwarzenegger is known for his one-liners. This movie is just an hour and a half of one-liners. I really like Twins. I feel like Twins is underrated. Oh, I forgot Batman and Robin. That has to be on there somewhere. But yeah, maybe another day. Non-compete says the Epstein list denial is going to serve to strengthen the MAGA cult. It will cull the weak followers and make the diehards even more diehard. Yeah, I could see that, but I think having less fans is still good because that means he can't like get as much stuff done. Arnold be talking smack to Trump. That is good in life. Arnold is based. Like, Arnold Schwarzenegger is a good example of how a person can be a Republican but still a reasonable person. It seems like an oxymoron a lot of the time. Yeah, it seems like broadly Terminator 2 is kind of agreed to be the best. That movie's so good, man. It's like a perfect movie. True Lies, that's another one, yeah. Would you consider doing a tier list of bread tubers, or would that get you canceled? I wouldn't be good at that because I don't watch a lot of that. I don't watch bread tubers really. And then it's like, what is a bread tuber, to be honest? Am I a bread tuber? Like, there are people I watch, but the term bread tube is so vague that I don't even know what it even means these days. Arnie was the only good thing in Batman and Robin. Listen, I think Uma Thurman's performance in Batman and Robin is underrated. She went all out in that movie. I think she should get some credit. Like, that movie is not good at all, but Arnold and Uma, they said, you know what? You're going to put us in this ridiculous movie. We're going to commit to the bit. And I think Uma Thurman committed to the bit. And Arnold obviously did. He's kind of what most people remember about that movie. Yeah, they really should have ended the franchise after Terminator 2. I mean, or they could have just made good movies after Terminator 2, but you know, that's just that's how it goes. If something is successful, they're gonna make another one. Especially if it's an action movie with a decent formula. It's like, oh, we can do this infinitely. Arnie was a classic fiscal and progressive conservative Republican, not a Looney Tunes conspiracy Republican. I mean, yeah. Arnold suggests that republicanism is like a sports team. People pick it early in life and stick with it no matter how ugly it changes. In his case, it was because he disliked European socialism. Yeah, I mean, I think probably most people think of politics like a sports team type of thing. And it's probably not a good way to think about it. BreadTuber is such a broad term that anyone who has vaguely left of center content or views gets lumped in as one. Yeah, I mean, a lot of times the content doesn't even have to be political. I mean, one of the biggest examples is Lindsay Ellis, who was always considered part of that group. And, you know, she has left of center politics, but I don't know that she has ever made politics videos. But, you know, I think she was friends with some breadtubers or whatever, or friends with other people that did make politics videos. I don't think anyone who would be considered in BreadTube would claim the title. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a label that is owned by the audience. Most creators that I'm aware of don't claim it for themselves. Uma Thurman and Baron Munchausen. So I think Uma Thurman is a really good actress. I'm a big fan of Uma Thurman. That was the Michael Keaton Batman, right? I believe. Are you trolling? Are you and FD Signifier still cool? Yeah, I mean, yeah. I don't, as far as I know. I haven't talked to him in a little while, but yeah, we're cool. Well, Lindsay did have that one series, Marxism, the whole plate. Oh. Are you more a music guy? I like the music that I like. I don't really keep up with music though. So I probably wouldn't describe myself as a music guy. If I'm a blank guy, I'm a sitcom guy and a YouTube guy. Those are the guys that I am. If we're talking about like popular media. Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to like be rude, but yeah. No, that's like the much maligned George Clooney Batman in Batman and Robin. Michael Keaton is generally considered to be a good Batman. In Batman, starring Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson, and Batman Returns, starring Michael Keaton and Danny DeVito as the Penguin, and Christopher Walken's in that movie. Who else is in that movie? Oh, Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman. But yeah, I genuinely thought you were joking because that's kind of one of the main things about that movie is everybody hates George Clooney's Batman. What did you think about? Yeah, with the nipples. What did you think about She-Hulk and the fact it was considered a sitcom? I think that She-Hulk was 100% a sitcom, and I liked it. I feel like some people didn't like it, but I liked it. But I always have to give the disclaimer when it comes to Marvel stuff. I am a massive just Marvel fanboy at this point, so I am heavily biased, and I tend to like most of the stuff that they make. Obviously, some things are better than other things, but I'm a fanboy, so I may not be the best judge, but I enjoyed She-Hulk. Lindsay was staunchly pro-union in the third episode of the 3-part Hobbit. I think that counts as BreadTube. Yeah, I mean, like I said, she clearly has what you might consider left of center politics, and I don't think she hides it or anything. It's just not what her channel is about. Or someone like Jenny Nicholson is another example. Like, I don't think she's ever made politics videos. Maybe she has at some point. But you can tell just from, you know, her general vibe and the things that she says in her videos that, you know, she's probably not a Republican. And I think, you know, she posts on like Twitter and other stuff like that where you can get a sense of her political views. What did you think of Captain America Brave New World? I liked it. I think it was a solid B minus. I really I wanted it to be better than it is because it's, you know, it's a Marvel movie led by a black guy, which we don't get too much. We had like Black Panther, of course. But you know, we got the Black Captain America now, and I want them to make it good. But it was fine. Hopefully Anthony Mackie like gets more chances to play that character and you know, do some cool stuff, because on paper the character is really cool. It's Captain. It's like Falcon with the Captain America shield. It's pretty dope. And Anthony Mackie is a great actor for sure. And that character Sam Wilson is a good character. But can he like carry a franchise? I don't know. I haven't seen the new Superman movie yet. I hope to see it soon actually. Who's the best late night host now that Conan is gone? Who's the best now? I don't know. I'm not like super into any of them that much. Stephen Colbert is okay, I guess. Did Falcon ever get that bank loan? I don't remember. Did they ever conclude that? Craig Ferguson was the GOAT. I agree for sure. Craig Ferguson was the best late night host. Black Panther was one of 2 superhero movies on the New York Times top 100 21st century films list. I feel that. I mean, Black Panther, I think, is one of the top 2 MCU movies. Probably my 2 favorite MCU movies are Black Panther and Guardians of the Galaxy. Black Panther, the only problem with Black Panther was the third act. That big CGI fight at the end. They always have to do that in Marvel movies. Well, they don't have to, but they insist on doing it. And it kind of cheapened the whole idea of the movie, in my opinion. But for the first, hour and a half, it's like a perfect movie, honestly. Did I ever watch the show with Carson Daly? I did, not a lot, but I do remember that. I don't remember like being super interested in it. DM Collins, thank you for the $5. Why is Marvel so much better than DC in the comics? Fuck movies. Well, for one, there's a lot of really great DC comics, so it's not necessarily the case that Marvel's just across the board better than DC as far as the comics go. I think they're definitely better in terms of movies, but you specifically said in the comics. But I think the reason that people tend to like Marvel more is because their characters are more relatable. Most Marvel heroes are kind of like just regular people that happen to have superpowers. Like Spider-Man is like a normal teenager and he has like normal people problems. Like he has to go to school and he has to talk to girls and he's like awkward around his friends and stuff. Meanwhile, DC is like, oh, Superman, he's like literally a god. Or like, the Green Lantern, some like space police force came down and granted you ultimate power. Like, it's less relatable. Like, it's cool to see these larger than life heroes. It's just less relatable, and I think that's why people tend to like Marvel more. Rip to Chadwick Boseman, absolutely. What's your favorite Warhammer 40k faction? I unfortunately don't know a lot about Warhammer 40k. I've been meaning to learn more about it. I have a friend that's really into Warhammer, and he was like trying to explain it to me a little bit, and I did not understand what was going on at all. I can't get my friends to play Warhammer with me. They don't seem to be interested in it. Oh yeah, I think I've seen you guys talking about Warhammer. Yeah, I'd love to check it out. I don't know anything about it. I don't know if I need to like buy something. But yeah, there's a lot of really good DC comics. Even like the Justice League comic was really good back in the day. I haven't read comics in a while, but I read some DC comics back in the day. Obviously, there's Batman. Like, it's hard to hate on DC when they have Batman. Like, Batman is always going to be Batman, and Batman's always cool. You should watch the Adeptus Ridiculous podcast. It's a good place to start to learn about Warhammer lore, and the hosts are real funny. Adeptus Ridiculous? Okay. I'll keep that in mind. We got a bunch of them. You can just pick one of ours and see if you like it. Sounds good. Yeah, I'd love to do that someday. But guys, I think I might go ahead and end the stream here. I just wanted to stream for a couple hours. A lot of times I like stream for a while and then I look up and it's like midnight. So I want to avoid that. But I'm gonna try to stream again next week. But yeah, thanks for hanging out with me. It was fun as always. I don't know. I feel like I was about to plug some stuff, but I don't really feel like it. Just, you know all my stuff. Just go watch I just came out with a video. Go watch it if you haven't watched it yet. Join the Discord if you want to chat with the community. You know, all the regular stuff. And I guess if you want to support me, you can join Patreon, and I'll just put all the links in chat. So I guess I'll just end up doing the plugin anyway. But yeah, that's about it. I'm gonna check the poll. Wait, let me look at the poll real quick. So 6 p.m. got the most votes. So early, almost nobody said earlier, so that's good. So you guys do want the afternoon late night streams, and I guess it's a biased sample because you are here now, so you probably would like the later streams. But yeah, okay. But yeah, thanks guys. Hopefully guys see you again soon. Go watch my video. Anyway, bye bye.